I'm giving myself 7 days to redesign one of my original characters. I'll be using real anime studio techniques. This is Maki Hoshimoto, the main character for my original manga and music IP, Maxed Out. Here's what she used to look like before I updated the design. And now, here's the final version. The thing is, I still have to do the other three, and Heki Akazawa is the first one. Heki Akazawa is the basis of the band in the story, Strawberry Jam. I mean, her look pretty much says it all, doesn't it? She's an emo 19-year-old living on her own, working at a music store after dropping out of university. But the hilarious thing about her design is that she's ironically supposed to mirror Maki. It's a funny contrast, and since they don't like each other at the start of the manga, it's one of my favorite storylines. But I have one goal. That's to make a proper animation in just 7 days. You see, I'm working on making my own opening movie for Maxed Out, and it's gonna take me months to produce this. I'll need 25 to 30 fully animated cuts, and I figured this video would be a great way to add one. So I'm gonna fully design a new version of Heki Akazawa and make a 2-second animation in just 7 days. Are you ready? I'm ready. Let's see what we can do. All right, I've pulled up some different images of Heki that I have, some different concept art. We already know what she looks like in the manga. We'll start with the manga first. Like, her features are very distinct. She's kind of got those flat eyes. The bangs are covering her face. Her eyes are kind of like almond shaped almost. And in this instance, she's got her hair tied up and she's kind of wearing like very basic clothing, right? It's just kind of like some sort of crew neck. This panel shows Maki and Heki right next to each other, and you can pretty much see the similarities. They almost look the same, just kind of different versions. And this manga that I wrote is intentionally designed that way. So now we have some concept art with colors. This was made a long time ago, so it's a little rough, but we can at least see the color palette. We know what points we need to hit now. When you look at this image, why does it look more modern or more refined? Well, as I said earlier in the video, I heavily studied Kyoto animation style when making these designs. So I'll point out specific things like the eyelashes being more detailed. I stole this technique from A1 Pictures' Too Many Losing Heroines, highlights on the nose and shadows on the dark side. Sorry, I kind of covered it up there. Maybe that's a little bit better to see what I'm talking about. And the funny thing about Maki's eyes is they are almost exactly replicated from Yanami's. It takes the same shape where there's a large thick border on the outside and then a highlight in the top left corner. I've really had to work on my line discipline, I'm going to call it, which is making sure there's not too many lines in the hair, and you can see I've only chosen specific points. You can see these bangs have gone from what was originally 3 in the center and 2 on the sides into now multiple strands. They retain the same shape, but I split them up by adding small portions of the forehead being exposed. And so if you're wondering why this sheet looks the way it does, well, that's the whole purpose of it. It's just references for me when drawing manga or anime illustrations to make sure I keep the designs consistent through all of the different angles. And since it's just me working on this, that's why I only chose to have 5 angles. You'll see many professional character design sheets have like 20 on them, and I just simply don't have the time to do that. I'd be here for months. But the key part of this was to get those core 5 angles down. And now that I have them down, I can simply just make this layer a little bit more transparent. And now we can start designing Heki. I'm not gonna lie, I already kind of started working on one before I started making this video. I'm gonna take this Heki character and I'm gonna open her on another profile on the side there like that. So I didn't really finish coloring it in, but that's kind of the line design that I went for. So you can see I just dropped her hair down. There's less of the forehead exposed because that kind of makes characters look childlike, and more covering her eyes to resemble the way it was with Maki. So let's get started on the line work. I'm just gonna time lapse it while I'm talking over this here. So the goal was to cover basically her face with the hair. I feel like that really adds to mysterious emo look, if you will. You can see on the right her forehead was a lot more exposed, so I tried to close that off. And as this video goes on, you'll see that these character design sheets look very similar in the end. That was intentionally done that way because, again, this is just for me to reference. And just like that, we're back for day 2. It's currently 5:30 in the morning. I've been up all night. I'm kind of on a reverse sleep schedule right now. I'm not even sure where I left off in yesterday's session, so it looks like I've finished this side. So basically, if you're wondering how I got this Maki character design sheet in the first place anyways, I'll put some images on the screen of the custom 3D head models that I made. This really helped me kind of get the structure that I was going for. And I used some images from Kyoto Animation titles to help me understand the proportions a little bit better. And so that's how I was able to create this sheet. And now we're using it for Heki as well. But I think I'm going to make some more character design sheets later on that resemble some more variations, if you will. You probably saw me bring up some references too. I got so tired of drawing this giant wool trench coat that I put on her, and I just started putting her in other clothes. Like I gave her this like Adidas quarter zip jacket thing, and then I just put her in a collared shirt here. But yeah, that was tough. That activated the brain for sure, especially this bottom angle here. Like this angle is so hard to draw. I took a little bit of a break. I've been working on a lot of manga and a lot of animations, which is exactly why I actually still have the timeline left up. We're almost done. I know it doesn't look like it, but we are almost done. We just need to color it in. All right, now we're on day 3 or day 4. I got to be honest, I kind of just lost track of time at this point. I really enjoy coloring. Let me know in the comments if you guys enjoy coloring too. So this was one of my favorite days. I have this Tadaima album cover to be the baseline. So normally how I do this is obviously the line art goes above the colors. And you can see I drew in aliased lines. That way, like when I fill it in like this, there's no transparent holes. There's just like these little tiny splotches we have to fix, which is super easy. And then we go through and we smooth it after. Just makes things very seamless. I mean, her hair is intended to be like black, but it's got a green tint to it because we're going to do the green undertone. As you can see here, she's got like this green undertone, but I'm going to kind of mess around with it a little bit. I'm not sure how I'm going to do this green part yet. Next is her eyelashes. I like to do like a not full black on the eyelashes because that like really stands out. So I'm doing like this lighter purple, violet, brown color. I don't know if you can see that. While I'm filling in these eyelashes, I've been like learning how to animate for a while now. Maybe like, I'd say I probably have like a 300 to 400 hours of animating. So not that much. And oh my gosh, it's so hard. It is literally so freaking hard. Yeah, just some foreshadowing for later on. I definitely made a big mistake. I've been animating all week and it has like completely fried my brain. It's why I haven't worked on this coloring thing or this video specifically in a couple days. But now I'm back on it, and let me tell you, this is very relaxing. This does not require my brain to think as much. Do you guys feel that way? Do you guys like coloring too? I find coloring very relaxing. All right, now comes the fun part with the eyes. There you go. She kind of looks like... Oh, I don't know what that character's name is. Okay, that was the wrong character. It is not Ayamu. It's you. That's who it is. It's you. So that's you from Love Live Nijigasaki. Except she doesn't normally wear her hair down like that. Her hair is normally up. Yeah, here you go. So you can see this is what you normally looks like, but her hair isn't dyed underneath. Her hair is like done at the tips, and Heki's is dyed underneath. I thought that was an interesting thing there because that was completely unintentional. I didn't even notice that until as soon as I finished coloring it. I was like, oh my God, that looks exactly like you. All right, so then I just spent the rest of the day finishing in the rest of the coloring for the other angles. And now you can start to see what I mean by the sheets. The two character sheets look very similar. But now comes the hardest part of the video, which is having to animate this. So that's going to be a challenge in itself. So let's try it. But before I do that, there was one change we had to make to this sheet, which was the Frieren Angle. I'm really not a fan of how I drew the Frieren Angle from underneath, this awkward angle where you're looking from under the chin. And the same issue kind of happened with Heki. You can see I even wrote a note to myself to make corrections here on this one. But that's okay because I did some R&D and I know exactly how to fix this. I think I know how to fix it. Let me put an asterisk there. I think I know how to fix it. If you are an industry professional, please let me know. But I think what's went wrong here... What's gone wrong? That's probably a better way to say that. I think I I think what went wrong here is that the nose is covering too much of the eye, and actually that this shape of the face is fine. And well, how did I figure this out? I'm going to show you. Now, I love taking screenshots of anime and using it to study. And this shot from season 3 of Hibike Euphonium with Kumiko is a great example of exactly what we just talked about. You can see the nose is actually dipping underneath the eye. I guess it's complementing that bottom shape there. Kind of like that 20 to 45 degree angle of the head from an underneath perspective. Is this called the bridge of your nose? What is this called? I think it's called the bridge of your nose. Is underneath the eye right there. So on ours, you can see the nose is protruding too high. So we simply just have to drop it down. I just finished coloring it. Doesn't that just look so much better than the other? It looks so much like that. That looks like it's so clearly used a 3D model, right? Which it did. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's just that it's not proportionally adjusted correctly. And this one just looks so much better. All right, now that her design has been completed, I know pretty much roughly what I'm going to do for the animation, which is going to be a side profile animation with some waving hair. So let's head into the actual animation sheet. We need to fill out the information first. Basically, Japanese anime is on 24 FPS. So it works on 24 frames per second. How you fill this out is this is the time. And the name of the animator is Burisuko. Like, I'm thinking I want Heki kind of walking. The thing is, I don't know like exactly where I want her on the frame yet, but I kind of want her like looking down, and then we'll have her nose kind of poking out like this. All right, so you can see as I'm drawing the rough sketch here, kind of what I'm visualizing. A little too big. I mean, whatever. We'll just that's supposed to be an ear. I really want to put her bass guitar on her back in a case and have that like moving up and down, like the suspension of the bags, whatever it's called, the strap, the back straps. So like you wear the case like a backpack. So that right there is supposed to be like a guitar bag case for her bass guitar, and basically the arrows are going to indicate that like the suspension of the bag, every time she's walking, the bag will move up and down, bigger, whatever. I think you guys can see the vision of this, and she's going to stay in this part of the frame, but I do want to animate her hair moving as well. All right, I think that's pretty decent. So I'm going to clean up this rough sketch now and make this look a lot nicer. And then I think we can start getting into the movement. And I'll just do like a color guide because I really want to get this video out. And if I'm to color every single one of these frames and make the background, that is literally going to take me like a week to do that. So yeah, I think I'm just going to do a color guide for this animation. Okay, so the base animation has been cleaned up a little bit in terms of the rough sketch. I still need to draw the guitar case, and I'll talk to you guys while I'm doing that. I think I'm going to give her like a scarf of some sort because the song says people say you're so cold when this frame plays. So I feel like that would be a nice touch to that. So this is one of those sequences where we're really going to only animate the bag, I think, over here, and the hair. So we'll draw that on separate layers, and then the actual like head and whatever it's called, the body, won't be moving. And I'll probably make her blink too at some point. So maybe like one step, and then I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that's what I'm gonna do. And then I just started animating. This is where I made a big mistake. So first, you can actually see I pulled up some practice frames I have and some different references because I just wanted to test the line width. But then I made a big mistake. I drew everything on the same layer. That was the whole purpose of what I just explained about how I was supposed to do it on different layers. So I had to go back the next day and do this again. You're going to see the clips of me explaining it now. Okay, so it is the final day of this video. So I'll explain really quickly because I messed up the mic settings. I basically had intended for this to draw the hair in the bag on separate layers so that I didn't have to draw everything over and over again. I could just animate the hair in the bag. That's very studio-like. That's a common practice. And I was just watching a hockey game while I was doing this, and I was like so locked in that I forgot to change the layers. I just wasn't paying attention when I was working, and so I had to go back and redo the whole thing over again because I would have screwed up the whole process without that. So there you go. That's what led to this time lapse right here of me having to redo the whole thing. And I'm glad I redid it because it really made it a lot better than it otherwise would have been. But we're not done yet. There was a lot of stuff that needed to happen for this animation because I had to animate the hair. I had to animate the walking movement. I had to animate the bag. It wasn't easy. You see, I actually took a picture of myself because I just couldn't get the hand motion right. And that's where the bag animation came into place. This was really challenging because you had to think about every time she took a step, the bag was going to stay in place because of gravity. And then once she takes a step and hits the ground and pops back up again, then the bag kind of gets pulled forward and kind of hits you in the back a little bit and then rebounds. And so that was really challenging, having to put my brain to work and think about how that strap was moving and stuff. But we were able to somewhat figure it out. Oh man. Okay, so I've finally finished. It is now 5 o'clock on the dot, and I started this at about 9:30 in the morning, I think. So I finished the Shikisa, and the thing is, I didn't do it like super in detail. I just did a little bit. And I gotta be honest, it's only for the sake of the video, right? The color instructions are pretty much just there for if you're working with like a team of people to make sure that the colors get placed accurately. Can you guys tell that my brain is just completely melted right now? I've been doing this for so long. Anyways, the instructions are there for like a team of people, right? So that things don't get messed up in the pipeline. But since I'm just animating this myself, I can skip a lot of those steps, and I already know where the colors need to go in these frames. So I just did the Shikisa for the sake of the video so you guys could see what it looks like. Anyways, so now that it's finished, I'll play it through so you can see it loop. So there we go. It's looping. She's walking. The bag's got suspension to it. There's some jittery stuff in there that I still need to fix. I will figure that out in a second. I'm pretty sure I already know what's causing that, which is this blink being too... There we go. Yep, that makes total sense. Okay, I figured it out. Nobody panic. Okay, minor troubleshooting I had to do there. I messed up the timing a little bit, but for the most part, I was trying to do everything as professional as possible in this video. All right, stop. Everybody hold your horses. I did not mean that like I am a professional. I meant that in the sense of I was following what a professional would do regarding taking the necessary steps before making an animation. I am definitely not a professional. And I think it actually really helped with the result. I think this looks very decent for my animation skills. I'm not a professional animator, so being able to make this, it looks like she's walking, her hair is bouncing, there's suspension in the bag, and I don't know, it looks pretty decent to me. It's just a little too, I don't know, I feel like maybe there would need to be some in-between animators hired for this one for maybe 1 or 2 frames just to help the choppiness a little bit. But now we have to label them. So this is A1, it is the keyframe, and it's the start. And then this is A2. The key points were basically like as she was walking, I knew I wanted to have her hair moving with gravity. So that's why there's the, I guess, slight bounce in the hair. It kind of bounces down and then does like a small recoil upwards. And the bag was the big thing, especially with this shoulder strap that goes through here. You can see the shoulder strap actually like twists with the bag. I don't know if you can see that, but essentially like as you're moving with the bag, there's a lot of weight in here because she's carrying a base. And so when she walks, the bag pushes back. And then once she takes her step that hits the ground, the bag pushes against and hits her in the back again. And I got that from referencing the Bocchi the Rock scene. I can't show it, unfortunately, due to copyright, but in that, essentially the same thing happens where she takes a step and this side bang swings forward and this one swings back. And then once she moves her other foot, it's the inversion of that. So this one swings forward and that one swings back. And during that happening is when the bag moves backwards and then forwards towards her back again. So when it comes to animation, like, not only do you need to know how to draw, but you also like really need to think about physics and how gravity affects things. And that's why it takes so long. I definitely have a lot of areas to improve on when it comes to that, but this was such a fun video to make. It's so cool to see the character design be made in real time and then be able to use that in an animation like it was an actual production, which this one is technically an actual production. I'm gonna put an asterisk next to that. This isn't like no studio is turning this into an anime. It's just that I am using these assets to actually make my own maxed out opening anime thing. I'm essentially making like a short film. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that already. And so the cool thing about this video is this cut is actually going to be used in that short film. So that was this video completed. Let me know what you guys think. Go ahead, rate my animation out of 5 stars in the comments below. I'd love to know what you guys think, especially if you're like a professional animator or if you have a couple thousand hours making animations. Let me know how you think I did. Did I do a good job or did I completely chunk it? Let me know. All right. Well, I'm just trying to get better here, so I'm open to the honest thoughts. I don't know if I mentioned it in the video. I probably only have a couple 100 hours worth of animation, just some like basic practice. I am by no means anywhere near a professional animator, but I've definitely accumulated a couple thousand hours worth of drawing now. So my art skills are certainly stable, but still improving, I would say. But yeah, this was a super fun video. I think the big takeaway from this for me is that I'm gonna have to redo these character design sheets again. I don't think I would ever show these character design sheets officially because they just look far too similar to each other. I kind of made these sheets more just for me to look at, so that's why I wasn't really too concerned about the composition of it. But yeah, let me know what you think of Heki's redesign. Let me know what you think of the animation. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a like on the video. I'm sure every YouTuber says it, but it's because it helps us out. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd be glad to have you around for the next video, and I'll see you then. All right, welcome to the outro of the video. Most of you have clicked off by this point, but if you're still here, I wanted to provide one maxed out fun fact before the video ends. I think I'm going to do this in every video. And today's is a fun one since we were talking about Heki the whole video. She is a bassist. What instrument does she use? Well, she uses a Squier Paranormal Rascal bass in Sherwood Green. It's a beautiful bass. I actually own one, and it's the one I used to record on all of the songs. So it's only fitting that she has the same one, of course, made by Fender. It's a beautiful bass. It's one of the best basses in this price range. It's absolutely fantastic, and yeah, it sounds awesome. Now we are truly at the end of the video. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.